All right. There's one like number 7 on here, so we're looking at number 7. It's the cubed root of 128 a to the 13th b to the 6th. But, okay, yeah, there's one like number 2 on there, and there's only one that's like numbers 4 and 5, okay? So both 4 and 5 aren't on there. Do y'all understand that? That's the same problem. Okay, so now there's one like number 7 on there. The cubed root, whenever we do this one, these are not perfect cubes. Does everybody see that? 128 is not a perfect cube. 13 is not divisible by 3, but the 6 is, right? Okay, so we're going to have to work this one out a little bit different. Let's list some perfect cubes. Like 1 to the 3rd power is just 1. That's not going to help us. What's 2 to the 3rd power? 8. What's 3 to the 3rd power? 4 to the 3rd power?
64.
I'll just go one more time. What's 5 to the 3rd power?
125.
Do any of those numbers go into 128? 125 does not divide evenly. What divides evenly into 128? Should be very obvious. 64. 64 times what is 128? 2. Okay, so I just replaced it. Now I have a perfect cube in there. Now, a to the 13th, I wrote this a little different before, but it's been a long time ago. 3 does not go into 13, does it? But what's a number close to 13? 12. So if I rewrote it, I know I'm doing it a little bit different than I taught it in the past. A to the 12 and A. Doesn't that still make A to the 13? Yeah? And B to the 6th, it's fine, right? That's divisible by 3, so I'm going to leave it as a 6. I think this is way easier than the way I taught it before, but y'all didn't want me to teach it but that one way. Okay, so now let's do this cube root stuff. What is the cubed root of 64? 4. So I'm going to write that out here. Let me check that one off. Okay, my cube root of 2, it has to stay in there, doesn't it? Because it can't be taken out. Now let's look at our a to the 12. What is 12 divided by 3? So I'm going to pull out a to the 4th. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
And what happens to that other little a? It has to stay in there with that 2. And what about b to the 6th? What is 6 divided by 3? 2. So I'm going to have b squared. Okay, does that make sense, y'all? I did this a little bit different than we did, but that feels like it's been a month ago.
Yeah.
This was before break, wasn't it? Before
It's been a long one.
winter break? I mean, it has been a long time. But since we've learned this, we haven't learned this in a while. Okay, do we feel good about those, though? And it's multiple choice, so what don't y'all understand?
I mean, it's just weird to get refreshed.
Yeah. Let's see, is there another one like it? Well, kind of. Some of these are still a little bit of a review like it. I think, okay, so that's different. All right, let's go on to number 8. They have the cubed root of 7x to the 7th times the cubed root of 9x to the 4th. So I'm going to combine those together. I'm just going to multiply. Huh?
Is there one left number?
No, but this is good practice like the one we just did, though. I mean, it's still, we're going to go through them because it's practice. It's been a while. So let's just write our one big cubed root. And what was 7 times 9? 63? I'm just multiplying everything together. And then how many x's will I have? X to the 7 and x to the 4th. That's x to the 11. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a cube, a perfect number cube that goes into 63? No. So it looks like we're going to have to leave that. Now, what about x to the 11? Is 11 divisible by 3? But is there a number close to it?
No.
9. So I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to have 9 of them right here. And then how many do I have left next to it? 2 more. So does everybody see that I still have 11 x's in there? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I can't do anything with the 63, so I'm going to leave it. Now, what's 9 divided by 3?
3.
So I'm going to have an x to the 3rd out here. And then I have to leave my x square in there. And that's it. That's your answer on that one. Which, no, there's not one just like that, but it's similar to the previous one, I think. Okay, let's look at number 9 as well. All right, number 9. I have the square root of 50x to the 7th, y to the 7th, times the square root of 6x, y to the 4th. So what's 50 times 6? 300. And then how many x's do I have? 7, and then one more is 8. And then how many y's do I have? 7 and 4 is 11. Now, I can find a perfect square. What is it going to be? What goes into 300? It's pretty obvious. 100. Biggest. You're looking for the biggest one that's a perfect square. 100 goes into 300. So let me rewrite that. 100 times 3. Now my x's, is that divisible by 2? 8, yeah, so I'm going to leave it alone. Is the 11 divisible by 2?
No.
So I'm going to change it to a 10, and then I still have my other one. Is everybody good with that? We're getting better at that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the square root of 100? 10. So I can mark that one out. I'm leaving my 3. What's 8 divided by 2? 4. So I'm bringing that one out. And then what's 10 divided by 2? So I'm bringing that one out. And then what do I have left again? My y. So that's my answer. Sorry, I haven't been telling y'all these. Number 7 was A, 8 is A, and then 9 is B. Okay?
Is there one like 9 or no?
No, we're just, some of these are practice. I've got so many questions on here. At least I don't think there is. Let me look at the back. No, that one's pretty easy. It might be like that on the back. Okay, let's keep going. Number 10. There's not one. I think the next one that's like on the test is like number 12. It's very easy, but we're not to it yet. But let's still go through these. Number 10, I have the 4th root of 400 divided by the 4th root of 5. Basically, what's 400 divided by 5? We can divide those. 400 divided by 5.
175 something.
Just wait on
Well,
Which one though?
is 80? Thank you. 400 divided by 5 is 80. Now, the 4th root of 80, I don't think I can take that. I'm looking at my answer choices. Let me see. What are some 4th roots? Let's see what goes into 80. Well, we know it's not the 1 times 1. I mean, 1 to the 4th power. What's 2 to the 4th power?
16.
Okay, what's 3 to the 4th power?
81.
Okay, does 16 go into 80?
It has to.
It does. 16 goes in. Those are our only choices because now we've already passed up 80. So 16 goes into 80. So let me rewrite that. 16 times 5. I just used my calculator to figure that out, right? I was like, okay, 80 divided by 16. Yes, it works. It's 5. So what is the 4th root of 16? Do y'all know? If you don't know, do you know how to type it in on your calculator?
Yes.
No. Some of us don't. Okay.
My
If
calculator disappeared. You want to hear that story?
No. The 4th root of the 4th root of 16, you press the number 4. Okay? There's our 4. And then if I'm taking the root, I'm going to press this math button down here. So you press the math button and look at number 5. Do y'all see how number 5 lets you pick what root it is?
Yeah.
Oops, I went too far. So the 4th root, and if I type in 16, guess what it tells me? It's 2. So the 4th root of 16 is 2, and then I leave my 5 underneath here. Okay? And it's B. Yeah, it is cold now. 10 is B. Y'all, and if you have another question, feel free, like if I need to re-explain something, ask me.
Okay.
Okay. Let's keep going. All right, number 11. Cubed root of 270x to the 20th over the cubed root of 5x. So, what is 270 divided by 5. I get 54. Does that make sense? Now, how many x's do I have? Before we were adding them, what are we going to do in this case?
Subtract.
What's 20 minus 1?
13.
So yeah, I've got 19 x's. Now, the cubed root, let's find some perfect cubes. Well, I'll just write down 1, but that's not going to be it. What's 2 to the third power? 8. 3 to the third power? 27. 4 to the third power, and we've passed it up. What goes into 54?
27.
27 does how many times? 2. So I'm going to rewrite it as 27 times 2. Now, is 19 divisible by 3? No. So I'm going to rewrite it as what? X to the 18, but don't forget that 19th one, right? So we have to write it next to it. So what is the cubed root of 27? 3. Well, look, it's 1, 2, 3. It's 3. Cubed root of 27 is 3. Okay, and I'm going to write my 2 is left over. What's 18 divided by 3?
6.
So I have my x to the 6th, and I have one little x left over in there. So that number is, what, number 11 is B. All right, are we good with that? Now there's one like number 12 on there. You're welcome. It's not bad. Yeah, it is getting cold in here. It says, I have 2 fourth roots of 2x. Can you add 6 fourth roots of 2x? To be able to add and subtract, they have to match. I have fourth roots of 2x. Do those match?
Yeah.
Yes. So if I have 2 of them and I add 6 more of them, how many do I have? 8 of those things. The exact same things, right? That is 8 fourth roots of 2x. So be careful on that one. Number 12, your answer is C. Okay? It's just like that on your test. You keep those the same. You're just saying I have 2 of them and I add 6 more, so I have 8. Don't change anything. There's just 8 of them. All right. Then on your test, let's see. I think there's one like 13. Do y'all want to close some of these windows yet?
Yeah. I'm cold.
Are you cold, Miss Casey?
I am cold. I have the square root of 20, and y'all, we are on number 13. The square root of,
There is like 13, you said?
yes, there is one like this. And the good thing is, like, to be able to add and subtract, we have to have the same number under our root. Do these have the same number? No, but they're telling you what number they're going to go to. Does anybody, can you tell which one?
5.
It's 5. On your test, it's the same way. There's a small number. That's what we're going to get all these to. So basically, what times 5 is 20?
4.
4 times 5. Now I'm going to rewrite this one. What times 5 is 45?
None.
And then this one is fine left over, square root of 5. Okay? I just bring it down. Now I can take these square roots, and then I'll be able to add and subtract. What is the square root of 4?
2.
So I have 2 square roots of 5. What's the square root of 9? I have 3 square roots of 5. And then I'm going to subtract this 1 square root of 5. So how many do I have total?
5 minus 1 is 4.
Yep. I will have 4 square roots of 5 left over. Look at that and make sure you understand. 13 is A.
There is one like this?
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
why do you have...
That is confusing.
Oh, because it's 5 and then you subtract 1.
yeah, it was 5 and then you subtract 1. So they're not going to have the number 5 under there, but they're going to have a small number, kind of like, 5. And you'll know that, hey, those other 2, you need to change those to look like it. And that's what you'll do, just like this one. All right, then we have
I don't know how to feel about
number 14. There's not one. Do I need to go back over it, Thad, or are you just being
that. Oh
silly?
no, I got it. I got the right answer.
Okay.
I just don't know how to feel about it.
Number 14, I'm looking at your test. I think there's one at a multiple choice like it.
What does that mean? Does that mean
I meant not multiple choice, short answer like it.
The short answer?
Because
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's just like number 20 on short answer, so I'm going to go over it just for practice. Okay, number 14, 5 minus the square root of 2 times 5 plus the square root of 2. What is this called? What are those? Anybody know?
Conjunction.
Brackets.
Not conjunctions, that's English, I think.
parentheses.
Conjugates.
Oh.
Conjugate.
Bro, I was close.
This one's a conjugate. I don't know if the one on your test is. Conjugates are actually easier. It's where the numbers match, but the sign is different. When we FOIL on this one, middle numbers go away. But what's 5 times 5?
25.
So I'll write it down. And this, I'll just go ahead and do this. That's 5 square root of 2. And what's this one going to be? Negative 5 square root of 2. So what happens to those? That's what a conjugate is. They went away. And then this one, a negative square root of 2 times a positive square root of 2. It's negative. What's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2?
Negative square root
It's
of
2.
4. Oh,
It's 2. So what is the square root of 4?
I don't know.
2. That's the same answer we got.
Oh.
Minus 2. What is 25 minus 2?
23.
That's our answer on that one.
The
Okay.
MJ.
I think the one though on your test, it's not a conjugate. So we'll do one like that in later in class. All right, let's keep moving.
The only one that I missed this case was number 19. That one confused me.
All right, let's go ahead and do number 15. There's one like this. I think it might be later in the test, or let's see if I can find it. It might be short answer. No, it's like number 16. It might be the same one. Okay, I don't know. It might not be the same one. All right, we have the square root of 3 minus the square root of 6 over the square, this is number 15, square root of 3 plus the square root of 6. What can you not have in a denominator? You can't have square roots. You can't combine any of these because they're not the same underneath the square root. You can't have square roots in the denominator, so we need to get rid of them. We will multiply by the conjugate to get rid of it, right?
Right.
Yes, we will multiply by the conjugate. What in the world is the conjugate to this denominator? Square root of 3 minus the square root of 6. Does everybody understand that that's the conjugate? That is going to make all my square roots in the denominator cancel out, okay? You multiply by the conjugate. You will do this on your test, the same problem, okay, at some point on your test. Up here, I have to multiply by the same thing. In the numerator, they don't all cancel out, but that's fine. Numerator doesn't matter. Denominator's what matters.
The denominator's on the
So
bottom.
the denominator
Yes.
turns to 1.
So,
Okay, so why wouldn't we do positive on the top?
because you have to multiply by the same thing. Right? This cancels out to 1. What you multiply on the bottom, you have to multiply by that on the top. You have to multiply by the same thing. And it has to be the opposite of what was in the denominator. It's just like this on your test. So, let's FOIL method. Do y'all want to do the denominator first? You guess? Okay. So, what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3?
3.
Since it's a conjugate, what happens to the middle terms?
They cancel out.
Yeah, so that would be minus the square root of 18 plus the square root of 18. That cancels out, right? And then what is the the square root of 6 times negative square root of 6? Minus 6. So our denominator looks great. It's just 3 minus 6. Okay, that's what we needed. The numerator's not going to be just like that. It'll be a little bit different. So what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? 3. What's the square root of 3 times the square root of 6? And it's negative, though. What's 3 times 6? Square root of 18. Negative square root of 18. All right. Then on this one, what's the negative square root of 6 times the square root of 3? Negative square root of 18. We can probably fix that in a second. And then what's negative square root of 6 times negative square root of 6? Plus 6. Now, in the numerator, let's combine like terms. And in the denominator, let's combine like terms, okay? So what's 3 plus 6? 9. And then how many square root of 18s do I have? It's minus 2 square root of 18s. And in the denominator, what's 3 minus 6? Negative 3. We do not see that answer because that's not the answer. Okay, let me rewrite it. I need more room. 9 minus 2 square root of 18, because we have to finish. Divided by a negative 3. Okay. The square root of 18 That's what we need to do something with, right?
Right.
What goes into 18 that's a perfect square? 9. Okay, so the square root of 18 is actually 9 times 2. Yeah, that's right. So what's this? I don't know why that's blurry. There it goes. What's the square root of 9? So I'm going to pull that 3 out, and I have my 2. And what's 2 times 3?
6.
So I have 9 minus 6 square root of 2 divided by negative 3. What do you notice about that? That 2 is not an answer.
Jesus.
Because everything can be divided by what? That negative 3. Okay? So what do we get? What's 9 divided by negative 3?
-3.
And what's negative 6 divided by a negative 3?
+2.
A positive 2. Do we see that answer?
Yes.
That's C. That one is tough.
Yeah.
I'd have stopped way back and just gave up and guessed. That's what I would have done. That's what I did on the ACT.
You definitely got that 13 though.
I definitely got that 13. I tried a little harder than I did last time.
All right, number 16. Number 16. We have 20 to the 1/2 times 20 to the 1/2. You can think of this 2 different ways. You can think of that as what's the square root of 20 times the square root of 20? 20. Or if you add the exponents, what's 1/2 plus 1/2?
1.
And 20 to the 1 is also just what? 20. You could type it in your calculator and it's probably still going to give you 20. Lots of different ways to do that one, right?
I like that one.
I know that one's not on there though. But the next one is, number 17 is. Number 17's on there. And look, it's even better. 16 to the 1/2. One thing you can do is type that in your calculator. Or some of you would know that's just the square root of 16. What is the square root of 16? 4. So number 17 is B.
4.
Number 16 I said was C. 15, I don't know if I told y'all the answers. It was C. Okay. Now we're at 18.
You said 15 gonna be on the test?
15, and it's the exact same problem. So if I were you, I would just kind of go over that
15?
tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Wait, it's the exact same, so I can just go through it and just pick C.
No? Okay, no. So,
Just know the answer.
it's not, yeah, I would definitely wouldn't just pick, because it mixes up answer choices, right? But they use the same numbers. So just be familiar with how to work it out, or what the answer looks like. All right, number 18. Is there one like this? Yeah, there's one like this. There's one like number 18. Write the exponential expression. We have a 3, and then our x is raised to the 3/8. The 3/8. So, what's our root? I'm just going to write my 3 down.
8.
And then I have the 8th root of what? X to the 3rd. That's your answer for number 18. It's A. Your 3 is out here. It's not raised to an exponent. And the bottom number is always your root. Think of like plants. Where do they grow? Into the ground underneath, right? So the bottom number is the root. That's the 8th root. And then just bring down x to the 3rd. Maybe that'll help you remember.
Now 19.
Yeah, I got 19 wrong.
Yeah,
Number 19, let's see. Write the radical expression in exponential form. I don't see this one on there, but I'm going to go over it.
I said it was B, but it's obviously not B.
Let's see. I have 8, and then in my denominator, I have x to the 15 over 7. Oh,
it's right the radical.
so, yeah, well, but no, that's almost my
No,
answer.
we wrote
They
the
didn't
radical.
write it like that. They moved their x, right? Do y'all see that? They moved their x to the numerator. What happens when you move something to the other side? It becomes a negative exponent. Like if it was a negative exponent, you would move it to the denominator to become positive. You flipped it. So that sign for the exponent flipped. So your answer for 19 is C. Does that match?
I know we use our notes.
That one's not on
I
there.
agree with that.
19's not on
What did
there.
you say? What did you say?
19 is C.
19 is C.
Oh yeah, I agree.
20 is not on there, but we're gonna do it. It's not. Nope, we're not using notes. I tried to pick several like.
No kid, man, that's so mean.
I think he's gonna do fine. He's back there answering more questions than y'all
Wait,
are.
so
just
are you
bad. I'm
giving
not
the new
mad.
kid we get
I
next
need
week,
a
are you
little
giving him
assistance.
this test?
So, he's not in y'all's class.
Oh, he's not?
He's in geometry.
I told y'all that.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
But they're trying to,
He
like-
already had algebra 2 last.
Oh yeah, but they're trying to, they said something weird because it's geometry and chemistry and
Yeah, so I'm probably going to record all my lessons for him. Geometry is much easier, I think, than chemistry. Right, y'all remember geometry. It wasn't...
Sarah said she did geometry on your code or something.
Yeah, but no,
And she didn't learn anything, so it's like the only.
But did they record lessons?
it was like, I forgot what it was called, teaching textbooks. It was like a whole program thing. It was so bad.
Okay, it was a program. I'm not a program.
Number 180.
You're a crazy old lady that makes us do work.
Whoa!
I'll remember
That's
that.
what you get for not
I'll
letting me
remember
do
that.
And that
Okay.
day you wouldn't give me a sucker.
That is on recording. That is all on recording.
I don't care.
So, on this one, I can't do anything with that because my roots don't match, right? None of that matches. So, something we can do, this one's not on there, but we can change those to exponents and subtract. The roots, see, just like this last problem, number 18. So, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put x to the 3 over 3. Right? Okay, in my other one, remember the root goes in the bottom. Like, think of a plant, roots are in the bottom. So, x to the 2 over 5.
I did that.
Okay, so then we just subtract. Say that you're terrible with fractions. That's what this thing's for. Right, Tyler, in the back?
Yes.
Okay, so you would take, let me clear that out. 3 over 3, which I know is just 1, but I'm just going to type it. That's my top fraction, and I'm going to subtract my 2 over 5. Remember, you subtract exponents when you're dividing. And if I press math, enter for
Oh, I
a
thought it
fraction,
said error.
what do I get? 3 over 5. So I get x to the 3 over 5. Is that what an answer choice looks like? Oh, it is. I didn't know that they did that way. Yeah. So number 20 is A.
There's not one like number
There's not one like number 20.
Hey, are you gonna give us a minute to do it on
Do y'all want some time? Do we have time?
but I was just gonna try to wait.
Oh, well, you can. This one's like one on the test. I mean, you can go whenever, but there's one like this one on the test. After this one, we've got a break of 2 problems that aren't on the test. So why don't you go over number 21 with me?
Number 22 and 23 are easy problems and they're not on the test.
Well, anyway, okay. 21. It is the square root of 2. This one's on there, one just like it, not exactly that. And the 8th root of 2. Okay? We cannot multiply these because they are not the same roots. Remember that rule? The roots have to be the same. So I'm just going to have to write them as fractions. So the first one, what is that? 2 to the what? 1/2. 2 to the 1/2. That's a square root. Okay, this one is 2 to the 1/8. Now, what do I do with exponents when I'm multiplying? Yeah, I'm just going to add 1/2 plus 1/8. So let me do that. I would do 1/2 plus 1/8, and I get, let me press math, enter. I get 5/8. So I get 2 to the 5/8. Is that an answer choice?
No.
I think it's B.
Is there one at 21?
Yes, there's one like that, where you're just going to add the exponents. You're going to add the fractions. And y'all, the first one is going to be a 1/2, and the other one is going to be, it's not 1/8, but something similar, okay? All right. Do you want to go ahead and go, Emma?
No.
Okay. Number 22, what could you do with that one? They want you to put, they want you to put -3/2. What does -1.5 equal to? -3/2. Could you just plug that one in your calculator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number 22,
I'm not writing those out.
did you get A?
Yes.
Yeah, because you press math, enter, and it should give you that fraction. Number 23, the same thing. Did y'all just put that one in your calculator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, they're just saying the cubed root of -27 squared. Okay, and you would do that in your calculator as well. Either way, number 23, you get A. Everybody's good with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Move into 24. There is one like this on the test. Wait, okay, because what numbers did y'all get through? 27, but y'all want me to just keep going anyway?
I suppose.
Or do y'all want a break to work on your own?
Yeah.
Right.
Not a break, but a break to work on your own. Not.
Have a break.
Like a
Oh, then no.
15 to nothing.
Okay, this one is, I'll think about it. The square root of x plus 10 minus 7 equals negative 5. We are solving for x, but what we have to do when we have a square root is get it by itself. Ultimately, we're getting to the x by itself, but the first goal is get the square root by itself. So we would add 7.
7 plus 7 is 14.
So nope, negative 7 plus 7 goes away. But you are right. If it was a 7 and a 7, that's what it would be.
Good try that.
Square root of x plus 10 equals... No, okay, negative 5 plus 7. It's okay. It's 2.
I'm just flabbergasted. That's not what.
Now what do we do? Square root's by itself. How do we get... We square it. We square this side, and we also square what? That side. And 2 squared is 4. And over here, we got x plus 10. When you square a square root, it canceled out.
Now you
We subtract 10, and you get negative 6. So 24 was D.
Is this one on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish there were all of them.
Let's see what's
doing
next.
25. Is that on the test?
25 not, but we'll go ahead and go over that one. And we'll just practice some of these. Let's see. We are already we've done the first 9 problems on the first 9 problems. Oh, and number 16. So we've really covered 10 out of the 26 already.
You think I'll pass this test?
I hope so.
No,
All right.
like, for real, you think I will?
I hope so. It's y'all's first. It's your first grade. It's your first grade on the 4th 9 weeks.
Wait, when do we get report cards?
Next week. Today's the last day.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, it's the last 9 weeks.
Well, there goes that.
25. 2
Experience with who?
times the 5th root of x plus 3 to the 3rd plus 3 equals 19. Okay, what do? I need to get the root by itself. Very good. So, are y'all listening? We would subtract 3. So I'm going to write all this again. You could change that to a fraction, but I'm not going to do that. What's 19 minus 3? 16. What do I do next? That square root or the cube, 5th root, whatever it is not by itself. The 2 is over there with it. So we will divide by 2. So, very good. I get the 5th root of x plus 3 to the 3rd equals 8.
No. Make
Okay.
it all of the
Now, if y'all want to, you could change it to fractions, or you could just do the opposite of what it says. Like, she's saying, take...
Our problem says 6, not 6.
It says 6.
It says x plus 6.
Oh, let me just change it then. I don't know where I even got that. 6. Okay, there we go. No,
6, 6, 6.
okay.
No.
Now, I'm going to raise both sides to what power?
5th.
5, because it has to be the opposite of your root, right? So I'm going to raise this to the 5th power, and that'll cancel out. So let me write that down. And what is 8 to the 5th power?
32,768.
32,768. Now, what are we going to do? Good job. What are we going to do now?
Now you're gonna.
We have a 3rd power,
You have to
I'm
square
gonna
it.
do-
or cube root it, right? We're going to cube root it, because that's the power.
Are you gonna cube root both?
Both sides, yeah, that'll make that number smaller for us. So I get x plus 6 equals, all right, Sarah, with your mental math, what's the
Man,
cube
she
root?
cheated. Y'all know she cheated.
What's the, I know.
She's still using her calculator.
What's the cube
I
root?
don't, can't.
It is 32. 32, good job. Then what do?
Subtract 6.
Subtract 6, and we get,
26.
yep,
Yeah.
it is 26.
Oh, look at you there.
I wrote the wrong thing at
Yeah,
first, I
that
think.
one right.
Yeah, it's 26. All right, it's A.
It's better than saying 8.
Number 26 on there?
No, and I think I'm going to skip number 26.
Yeah, I didn't even
Just
do that one.
Well, you would just square both sides. and then just keep solving. But there's not one like it, so I'm going to keep going.
So 27.
27.
Put it on there.
Why don't you just wait a little bit? I hate for you to
We'll
miss
have to
this.
take a break. That's where I'm going. I hope we are.
I don't know if we don't have time for a break. We've got
We have
30,
like a 10-minute break.
40
How many
minutes.
questions is on?
55.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Wait, you're playing. You're playing.
We are only on 27. We're only on 27.
So you want more than 55 questions? That's 55
No.
guesses.
27. 27.
You know.
It
Bro,
says
what if they ask about purple grape and purple grape's already on the test? No one knows about purple grape.
take your F function. You're wasting your own time. Take your F function and subtract your G function. I think on the short answer, there's one like this.
Hey,
Okay.
this was on the ACT.
So,
And so was inverse.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that before.
Oh.
So probably.
so f of x is 4x minus 5. And I'm subtracting that entire G function, James, which is 6x minus 3.
What the heck?
Okay? Does everybody see that? I'm subtracting the 6x and the negative 3.
Yes.
So, I'll rewrite it. Well, I'll just say, what's 4x minus 6x?
Negative 2.
Now be careful here. What is negative 5 minus a negative 3?
Positive.
A negative 2. It is
Negative 5.
because,
She's
or it's minus 5. It's a minus 5. So I just said it like it was a negative 5. Okay, so you should get, what number is this? 27 is D.
Yay.
Ooh, it's kind of nippy in here.
Okay. 28 is B. 28, the answer is B. Well, I just did this one. It was subtracting functions. Are we okay with this?
So why are we doing with that?
Well, there's one like short answer like this. We're reviewing, y'all. It's called a review. Okay.
They don't get it, man. I get it.
Thank you, Luke.
I get it.
Dad, why are we standing up?
I had to stretch my legs.
Okay, 29. Yes, there's one like this on your test. You take the f function and you put it in the numerator. The g function goes in the denominator. So that would be 3x minus 6 over x minus 2. That's what it's going to look like. We write it, but that's not what it's asking for. Oh, wait.
6 to 29.
Let's see. Then what does it tell me to do? No, I told y'all the answer to number 28. 3x minus 6 over x minus 2. Oh, okay. Now, on the top, they do want us to finish working this one out.
3x minus 6.
So, what can I factor out of that?
3.
A 3. And what's left over?
X minus 2.
Okay, and what's in my denominator?
X minus 2.
So, everybody look at that and make sure you understand that all I did was I factored out a number they had in common. The 3 and the 6, what could I divide those both by? That 3. I factored out a 3. What happens to x minus 2's? What did we say? They cancel. So what's my answer? 3. Then it asks for the domain. Is there something, look in your denominator at the beginning. X cannot be what number? 2. X cannot be 2, which you could see that without even finishing the problem, right? Your answer is B.
Yeah, can we please?
Yes, y'all shut the window. If you want a window shut, close it.
What if you want to open?
Wait.
Okay, listen, staying open.
That's fine, but there's 2 windows up here. If anybody wants to shut them, you can shut them. Okay. On this one, in the denominator, you can't have 0. What number would make that go to 0? Hold on, I'll get it. Everybody understands 29?
Is there one?
Yeah. I want to make sure you understand domain. There is one like 29.
30.
Number 30.
Yes, 2 days ago. Or yesterday.
All right. Number 30. There's not one. It's more like number 29. Just like it. They have x squared minus 16 goes in the numerator, and x plus 4 goes in the denominator. What's your domain? It's all numbers except for x cannot be what number? Negative 4. Which you should be able to tell, okay, that really narrows down to 2 answer choices on that one. Okay? But if you finish this out, if we factor the numerator, what does it factor to? That's a difference of squares.
Oh, x plus 4 and x minus 1.
X plus 4 and x minus 4. Does anything cancel out?
Yes.
Yeah, the x plus 4s. So what's my final answer
X
go
minus
to?
4,
X minus 4.
anything but.
So number 30, your answer is D.
When you just got that like 5th grade. Forget about out.
Okay, let's keep going. Number 31, there's one like it. 31. This one, number 30 was D. 29 was B. Now we're on 31. This one, they write it like this. It does not say fog. It says f of g of x. The way that I write it, and possibly like a college course,
What number is this? 31.
this is 31. They write, this means f of g of x as well. This is how I always learned it. But you basically take that g function and plug it into the f function. So let me first write down my f function. It is negative 2x minus 7. Now, my g function, anywhere there's an x, which is right here, that's where I'm going to write my g function. So negative 2 times, can y'all tell me what's the g function on 31?
It's negative 4x.
Yep,
What-
negative
how-
4x plus 3 to show y'all where I was plugging in on that x.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's what I plugged my g function into. So I just took my g function and plugged it into that f function. That's what composition of functions is. All right?
I mean, okay.
Then what are we going to do to finish it? I need to distribute, right? So negative 2 times negative 4x is
Oh, 8x.
8x. A negative 2 times a 3 is a,
Negative 6.
and then I have minus 7. Is there any other step? Anything? Yeah, I have these two like terms.
Yep.
8x minus 13. All right, so that's our answer on number 31. Or did they tell me? Then, oh, that's not our answer. Why not? Why is that not our answer?
Negative 5.
Yeah, look at it, read it. We don't have that answer because they told us to plug in something for x. What did they tell us to plug in? Negative 5. Do y'all see that on there?
Yes.
So it's just 8 times negative 5 minus 13.
Negative 40 minus 30.
Yep, and so negative 40 minus 13, and we get what?
Negative 53.
Yep, B, negative 53. There is one like that. I'm not going to do number 32, but if you want the answer, it's A.
I'm not even
No, in this case, he's skipping one. No,
Our next one, let's see, is like number 33. It says, what's the inverse of this function?
I don't even know. Yeah.
Inverse is when you what? Switch them. All right, so number 33, I'm going to write what they give me. They give me y equals 7x squared minus 3. But what am I going to do for the inverse? I'm going to switch them. So I'm going to write x equals 7y squared minus 3. Now I have to solve for y. You'll see, look at their equations. We solve for y, which you should be able to tell,
Is this one on the
narrow it down. Yes, you can already narrow it down without even starting the problem. So I would add 3. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to write x plus 3 equals 7y squared. Okay, divide by 7. So I'm going to get x plus 3 over 7 equals y squared. Am I solving for y squared or am I solving for y? Y.
That's square root.
So we take the square root. Now be careful here. When you take a square root, you're going to get what kind of answers?
Positive.
Positive and negative x plus 3 over 7. Remember, that's what makes our positive part of our graph and our negative. It makes a sideways parabola. So your answer for 33 is A. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How many
Bless
like
you.
short like answers that aren't
you're welcome.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me pause it and look. I'll count. All right. On number 34, we'll at least start it. No, this one's not on there. But I do want to show you they have that this function.
On the ACT, I didn't know how to do it, so I just guessed.
Here's your function, x minus 5. What does this mean right here, this little symbol? It means the inverse. They want you to do what? Switch it. That's all that means. I think I told y'all that because I told y'all in college it's going to look like this, depending on your college class. So they want you to find the inverse function. That means switch them. So instead of y equals that, let's put x equals the square root of y minus 5. Is everybody good with that? This is finding the inverse. I switched them. Then what do I do to solve? Square. So I get x squared, girls, y'all getting this? Equals y minus 5. Then what?
Add 5.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay. I'll hang on.
Oh, Emily's confused.
Alright.
So you just squared it both sides and canceled the square root.
Yeah, the square will cancel out the square root when she gets back. Add 5. X squared plus 5 equals y. So that's either what choices? C or D. Okay? And then you have to see what are your range values. What can y be? Let's see. I want to say 5. X has to be a number bigger than 5. Look back at the beginning. This one's kind of weird. It's not on there. But X can't be 5 or smaller. Does everybody understand that? Look back at the beginning. Because if it was smaller than 5, what kind of negative do we have under that root? I'm not kind of negative. What kind of number?
Negative.
A negative number. So X has to be bigger than 5, right? So if I plug that in, if X was, let's say, 5, what kind of number is that going to be? What's X squared? 25. So you're looking at numbers that are bigger than 25. Your range of values is going to have to be bigger, numbers bigger than 25.
So it'll be C.
Yeah, it's C. Okay. Number 35, there is one like it. Okay. Number 35, our answer is D. It says y equals the square root of 9x minus 36 minus 4. Make it easy to graph using a translation. All right, what they mean is that one's hard for me to know where to move this graph, left or right, up or down. Well, I do know down. Down how many? 4. But is there a number that I can factor out of 9 and 36? What goes into 9 and 36? 9. And 9's a perfect square. So watch. I'm going to write 9 times y minus 4. Okay? Does that look the same? Then what is the square root of 9? 3. So I have 3 square root of y minus 4.
What did you do? Just did 36 divided by 9?
Yeah, I just divided them both by 9 so that I could take that number out. Now I know where my graph moves.
Right.
Why did I do, that's supposed to be an X. I'm sorry, y'all. That's supposed to be, I was like, why do they have X's? Okay, so where is it translated? It moves to the right 4 and down 4. That's what it's going to be looking. Let's see. It matched. What did I say it was? D? Yeah. It's moved to the right 4 and down 4. And notice they have that 3 with it because that stretches it out. Does everybody understand why it's D? That one's on there. One just like it. Do I need to re-explain this one? No.
What number is that?
Number 35. There's one just like it.
Did we do 34?
Yeah.
That was not on there. I just kind of talked about it a little bit because I just wanted them to know it was the inverse. That's all they were asking for. That's really all I wanted
Wait,
them to
what
know.
was 35?
35, your answer is D. Okay? Everybody's good with that one. All right, let's keep going. Now we are on the short answer. Why do I have some that aren't? I did that one. I need to do one like that. Okay, some of these I'll have to come back and do. 1, 2.
Ooh, I think it's time for a break, man.
We don't have time for a break. No, let's just get done. Here we go. All right, this this one's not on there, but there were no real roots. You can't take a square root of a negative number. Number 1 was no real roots. Number 2 on short answer,
Wait,
there's
number 1's not on there?
no. And number 2, I think there's one. It's more like number 4. But number 2, if I graphed it, this is not going to be the best graph, but you can plug it into your calculator to graph it, but I know it starts at 0, 0. I know my slope is up 2 and over 1, just the first one. From there, it's not a straight line. It doesn't do the same thing. And then I could find other numbers, or do you want me to show you how to graph on your calculator again? Yes, no, no.
Is that on there?
No, but there's a couple, like I think 2 where we have to graph. I'll show you. It's multiple choice. I go to y equals, and I'm going to clear it out if you have anything. And I would type in 2 square root of x. And if I graphed it, it looks like that, which is kind of what mine's starting to look like. But if you want a table of values, you press second graph. Tyler, are y'all paying attention?
Yes, fine.
And it takes
You
you,
have to put it in parentheses.
you don't have to on this one. I don't think there's really anything. You can, but I have my 0, 0. I have my 1 over 1 up 2. Would I pick any of these decimals?
No, ma'am.
No. But how about 4, 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll go over 4 and up 4. And look, I can see this curve of that line. Okay? I will tell you there's one similar to it that's it's like this. It's multiple choice. Okay? Do y'all want me to do one more where we graph it?
No.
Look, it's one that you would pick. You can graph on your you can graph on your calculator and find it. Okay. So,
So do we need to do 3 and 4?
do you need to do what?
3 and 4.
Probably 4. You have to do the inverse and stuff.
Number 4. Yeah, number 4 is on there. Number 4 is on there, and it's short answer. Number 3 is what it's like on the graphing calculator. Y'all can handle that, and it's multiple choice. So it's basically very similar. It's either going to move left or right, or what? Up or down. Okay, one of those. So yeah, number 4, when you graph that and its inverse, that means you have to find its inverse. Okay, let's do that first. So number 4 on short answer. Here's the first graph that I would type in my calculator when I'm ready. That's the first one I'm going to type in. The second one I'm going to type in, I have to solve for it real quick, right? I just switch my x and y values, and I'm solving for y. So what do I do first to solve for y? Add the 2. Then what do I do? Is everybody good with that? So I'm going to put x plus 2 divided by negative 4. Yeah. And then our last step to get the y all by itself, I would square root. So we end up with a positive or a negative, right? So really, how many equations am I going to have to type in for this one? 3. I'm going to have to type in all 3 equations. Let me put a little graph on this paper. And I'll show you. You can do all this with your calculator now, right? It can give you all the numbers that you need. Don't get it. Okay. So the first one, I'm going to go to y equals.
Whoa, where'd that grab?
And I'm going to type it in. Negative 4. Move it to the left. Oops, I forgot my x. Negative 4. X squared. Minus 2.
What's the next one?
Then my next one, I'm going to do the positive. So I'm going to take the square root, and I'm going to put in parentheses x plus 2. I did it because that goes in the numerator. Divided by negative 4, close parentheses. All right, that's my first one. See how I did? I have an extra set of parentheses, and I'm dividing by negative 4. Do y'all see the extra set of parentheses? Mine's different. Some of y'all have fancier calculators. I can't tell y'all how to put them in the numerator on yours, but it should be easier. My next one, I'm putting a negative what?
Negative.
square root of x plus 2. I'm putting that in parentheses. Divided by negative 4. Okay? So, and when I graph, I'm going to have to put all this, I'm going to have to look at my table and put all this on my paper. There's my parabola, and there's my sideways parabola. They're backwards from normal because they were negative, right? Because it was negative, so it's going down.
Wait, mine is not like that.
So go back to y equals.
Why is it like that?
Oh, mine is okay.
Wait, is
You didn't put one of them in right.
Oh yeah.
This is what it should look like. It should be a parabola and then a sideways parabola. Okay?
Oh, I remember the sideways parabola.
So, do you know what you did wrong?
Makes that noise.
Here, let me pause this and then bring me your calculator.
Whoa.
This one on Tuesday if you need to. And if you have a calculator question, ask. Parker has yours. Do you have, y'all, there's also seniors or sophomores that may have one that you can borrow as well. Okay, I have one, but I don't have I have another, but not enough batteries. Okay, how do I get this on paper? Shh, that second graph, which is actually a table. Now, I'm only going to do my y1, my x and my y1. That is my what? First graph. So, I like these numbers right here. I'm going to do negative 1, 0, and 1. So negative 1 and down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here on my x is negative 1 and my y is negative 6. My x is 0, negative 2. Boys, y'all pay attention. And then I'm going over 1 and down 6. And when it repeats like that, that's the best.
So then you create that.
And you got that first parabola. That's part of your points. Now, I need to go over here to y2. The errors, that's not working, so I need to scroll up.
You gotta, yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
It took me 5 minutes to figure that out.
Ooh, silly.
there we go. I don't want those decimals. So look, I'm looking at negative 2 and 0. So left 2, and I stay there. And then my next one, I'm going to pick negative 3 and 5. So negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, is that? I guess that's right.
That was 0.5.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I was thinking that does not look right. I'm going to go ahead and go with that, though. Negative 3 and 0.5, because I can find 0.5 easy. And then my last one is negative 6, then what? 1.
Wait, that's negative
That's-
0.5, not positive.
Gosh, mistakes and mistakes.
What?
It only gives us negative ones.
Wait, no, mine's positive.
Yeah, okay, you're on your third graph. I'm only on my second. Yeah, my third graph is going to be that. This is my second graph. It's going like this. She's saying that hers, if I go over to my third graph, they're negatives, right? But that's right. It should mirror that. It should just mirror, and there's that answer. So I have the positives and the negatives. Yeah, your second and your third graph should just mirror each other. Okay? Does this make sense? Some of us I can't tell. Some of us look bored.
That graph.
It's just we've been.
I'm just
Y'all are just tired of this. Okay.
I'm just
Next up, we have number 8.
I think we should do negative 2 and 0.
Number 8, we gotta finish. What is the square root of 36 g to the 6? Huh? No, but I'm skipping. You're welcome.
No, you're not. No.
36 g to the 6.
What number are we on?
Number 8. The square root of 36 g to the 6. What's the square root of 36?
6.
And then, y'all can't see that. What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
G to the 3rd. And they really put it in absolute value bars, but I'm not looking for that because we didn't do any of that. This is your answer. 6g to the 3rd. Okay.
Number 9.
It's 6 divided by 2.
Yes, because a 6 divided by the square root. Yeah, remember those at the beginning that we did? That's, yeah. It's just 6 divided by, because that's an understood square root. Yeah. Yes, that's on the test, and yes, that's an understood square. Real quick, let's look at number 9. It's actually multiple choice, one just like it that's multiple choice on your test. I've moved it, okay, to multiple choice. Square root
Just like it.
of 7x, very similar, times the square root of x minus 7 square root of 7. What am I doing on this one? I'm just distributing, right?
Okay.
So this square root of 7x times the square root of x. So what all goes in the square root? 7x squared. We'll fix that in a minute.
Okay.
Minus sign. Is everybody good with that? Now my 7's going to go on the outside, and what goes under this square root? What's 7 times 7? 49, and I have my x. Now both of those things actually need to be simplified, right? Yes. So what can come out of here? What's the square root of x squared? X. So I have an x and a square root of 7 minus, what can I do with the square root of 49? Yeah, so I have 7 times 7 square root of x. Yep. So if I rewrite it, and that one's multiple choice. I moved it to multiple choice. That's your answer, but make sure you understand it. Then I'm looking at, do I need, okay, there's one like number 11 that's multiple choice, but I already did one just like that, right? So is everybody good with that, or do I need to go over it?
Oh,
'Cause-
no, is it 11?
Almost.
Okay, then there's one like number 12 that is short answer. Here we go. Number 12. If you need to do number 11, there's one similar that's multiple choice. Okay? No, I'm going to go over number 12. X plus 6 to the 3/5 equals 8. So you can either raise both things to the 5/3, or do y'all want me to rewrite it as a root? Rewrite it as a root. You could raise both sides to the 5/3. That would cancel out. That would just be 8 to the 5/3. Anyway, if you don't want to do that, I can just write that as the 5th root of x plus 6 to the 3rd equals 8. Then what would I do? Don't square it, but it's, instead of squaring it, we put it to the 5th power. Because it's not a square root, it's a what? 5th root. So we raise it to the 5th power on both sides. So that cancels out. So I get x plus 6 to the 3rd. And yeah, let me see what 8 to the 5th. 8 to the 5th is.
Only real ones can not use a calculator and solve this.
Yeah, you were right. It's 32,768. Did we do this one already?
Yeah.
We did something.
We did something with the same.
Oh, okay. It had,
We
Then-
did something with 8.
that number looks the same, yeah. Now, what do I do to get rid of that 3rd power?
Oh, you're going to cube root it.
Cube root it. Yeah, so we take the cube root. So over here I get x plus 6, and if I take the cube root of that number,
32.
would you get 32? I swear we did this whole problem.
We already did this one.
Okay, so,
It was 26.
well, we might have two of the same on there or something similar. All right. Anyway, are we good with that one?
That's the answer?
That's very similar. Let me see what the answer is for number 12.
Yeah, we did this one already.
Okay. Yeah, it was 26. Okay. Well, good. The next one that we have is like number 13. Do I need to go over 13?
No, we already did.
You're just adding like terms. But if you want me to go over it, I will. We have time.
Keep going.
Huh?
We already did one like it. We did like 4 like it.
Okay, everybody's good with adding that. Do y'all need the answer to number 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
X minus 11. X minus 11 is the answer to 13. So if you go home and practice and you don't get that, let me know.
Or do we have to do 14? It's super, super easy.
14.
Yeah, let's do it. Give her points.
Well, there's one like 15 and 16. Do y'all want me to just do 15 and 16? Okay, 15, it just says write the inverse. So here's my function. What do I do to find my inverse? You switch it. X equals 3y plus 9. Remember your inverse, you switch your x and y's. Inverse. So what do I do to solve for y, Thad? You getting this? Subtract 9. I know I'm not writing all the steps down, but is everybody okay with that? I moved my 9, I subtracted it. Then what do I do?
Divide by
divide by 3. So x minus 9 divided by 3 equals y. That's my answer. And they write it, okay, I would leave mine like that, but y'all, they split theirs up. You can leave it like this. They write theirs as 1/3 x minus 3.
I like it like this.
Me too. But do y'all know that that's the same thing? That's x over 3? And what's this one? 9 over 3. Okay, they split it up. Okay, then the next one.
Hey, Miss Casey, do you mind if the young man goes to potty?
Just wait, you've only got a couple minutes. Number 16. Is this a function? And then is the inverse of it a function? All you're looking for the function, your x values can't repeat. Do my x values repeat? No. So yes, it's a function. Now I'm going to switch them. Let me switch them. And I would rewrite it. My new x values are -8, -7, -4, and -4. Is this one is the inverse of function?
Yes.
Yes. No.
Wait, is it repeat?
Is this one a function?
It repeats.
It's not a function because your x values repeat themselves. So this one, you're going to say the inverse is not a function.
So it is a function.
Well, not necessarily on your test. You just have to be able to tell. So the relation, the first question on number 16 is yes, it's a function. But then when I switch them to get the inverse, no, that one's not a function. The x values cannot repeat themselves. When I switched them, guess what happened? They repeated themselves. That's why it's not a function. The last one on, there's 2 more. 17 and 20 are the last 2 on there. Do you want me to do those? We've got 8 minutes. So, okay, 17 and 20. 17, super easy. It looks way harder than it is. So, what happens since they both are raised to the 1/5 power? It really just cancels them out. So, you would get -2x plus 6 equals -8 plus 10x. I would add the 2x to both sides. So 6 equals -8 plus 12x. Then what? Let me slow down. Okay.
Yeah. Hang on.
There was, I swear, one more. Yep, there it is. That's the last one, really.
That's easy.
No. I'd have to add 8. I was letting everybody catch up. I would add 8 to both sides. And what do we get? 14 equals 12x. Divide by 12.
14 by
Yeah, number 17, they get 7 over 6. Shh. If you get a decimal, that's fine. I'll figure out what that decimal is and make sure your answer's right.
Number 6.
So, number 20. Are we ready for number 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody got number 17? It's just kind of like
I believe I'm ready.
algebra. Algebra 1, I mean. All right, number 20. 7 minus the square root of 2.
Is this a long
Let's
one?
have code.
8 plus square root of 2. It's just FOIL, and you have a square root. So what's 7 times 8? 56. What's 7 times the square root of 2? 7 square root of 2. What's 8 times a negative square root of 2? It's -8 square root of 2. Is everybody good so far? And then what's this negative square root of 2 times the positive square root of 2? -2. Then we only have one more step. We combine our like terms. So what's 56 minus 2? And then what's 7 square root of 2 minus 8 square root of 2? -1 square root of 2, or you could just put minus, or you just could put just the square root of 2. But you can put a -1 square root of 2, or you can just put minus square root of 2. Okay, I don't care if you put the 1 in front of it. That's all I'm going to do, but I am going to say there was one I didn't go over that I saw was on there, and I don't want y'all to be mad Tuesday if you're like, you didn't do that one. It's, well, if I can find it. It's,
members to meet in the library. All track members meet in the library.
Are any of y'all doing track?
I don't see one really like it. It's one where you have to check the answer.
What number?
Why don't I see one like it? How about I just write it down, and y'all can do this one, and it's the one on the test. And if you get it done and you've practiced it, then that's great. Let me find it.
So what you're saying is,
So I'm saying this one's on the test, but I'm not going to give you the answer. But y'all have done these, and I'm not going to show you how to do it. It's square root of x, because you can figure out now with somebody and see if you get the right answer. But remember, there's a freebie on the test anyway.
Yeah, why is there always a freebie?
Because I'm nice. So, like, you can, if there was one that just was, you knew wasn't going to get, I hate for people to make a B, because there was one problem they knew they just couldn't get. So,
Oh, wait, I think I have it.
so basically, you're going to add this over,
if I get to think about
and then you're going to have to FOIL. It may give you 2 answers, but guess what? How many are probably going to be an answer?
No,
One.
I don't like these.
And I think it's multiple choice. So if you want to try that one, it's all yours. That one's the one on the test.
it. Oh, so I can go pee now, huh?
Just wait. It's just a couple minutes for the bell.